Welcome to CrossFit Alaya Unleashed podcast, where we discuss health and fitness, mindset and business with your host, Coach Lloyd. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Alaya Unleashed, where we post updates and teasers on our upcoming guests and podcasts. All right, here we are, episode 25 of the Alaya Unleashed podcast. And I have a special guest with me today. He's decided to come on to his first ever podcast. I have my first ever official Masters CrossFit Games athlete. Pete, believe it or not, is 61 years old and fit, healthy. And this guy obviously wanted to have my podcast since he first come in the gym. And what better time to have him on now than asking him about all his CrossFit Games experience, which I'm sure many of you will want to listen to. But apart from that, I want to know Pete, the past Pete, get to know a bit about him because I don't know a lot about you, unfortunately. So it'd be good to get to know the past Pete, what drives him, what motivates him, any specific events in his past that has led him to where he is now. And then we'll go on to talking all about his CrossFit Games experience. So, Pete, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Yeah. We're just going to let you introduce yourself, let people know who you are, any specific information that you want people to know about yourself.
Pete Harvey, born in Canada, in Edmonton, 61, and grew up in Edmonton till I was about 10, then moved to Montreal, which it was the French part of Canada, because my father was French Canadian, and we lived there for 12 years, I guess. And then Quebec tried to separate, so all the businesses left and went to either Toronto or somewhere else. So my whole family moved to Toronto. I was going to university at the time, and then finished university, went to Toronto, met my now wife at a gym, coincidentally. She was in sales. I was one of those, creepy guys checking out the girls that are working in sales. And we've been together since, I guess, 1992.
Wow.
So, but married in 94, just before moving. So I got a job offer to move to Singapore in 1994 with the same company that I was working for a long time. We had no idea where Singapore was, but we said yes anyways. And we lived there for 30 years.
Well,
that's a long time.
I kind of think that Singapore, before Dubai, was the place that everybody was sort of going to for work. Right now, I think it's sort of come over this way a little bit.
Absolutely,
you're getting people moving from Singapore to Dubai.
It was a brilliant place for our kids. It was a brilliant place to live for our kids growing up. It's super safe, great schools, unbelievably sociable. Just like Dubai is to a certain extent, right? I think Dubai, back then it was.
Dubai wouldn't have been just like Singapore. Singapore was a little bit ahead, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of stuff that's happened here, like the rules, the way things are designed here, are modeled off the Singapore, model, really. But
so you was in Singapore for how long?
Literally 30 years, 1994 to 2024.
And so you had your 3 kids in Singapore. They was born and raised in.
Our middle son. We went back to Canada in '98 for 10 months, literally.
Okay.
My wife was pregnant as soon as she got back, had the baby, and then we went back to Singapore. I got a job back with the same company. I was doing foreign exchange stuff, and then they were opening up an oil division, and I went into the oil division in 1999, and I've been doing that since then.
Right. So I mean, there's been 2 constants there for you from that. It's been obviously one constant is work for whatever company this might be, and obviously fitness. You met your wife in some sort of fitness class. So to me, straight away, your 2 constants from the very beginning, if you will, is, probably a good steady job or a good company to work for, as well as, you looking after yourself and being able to stay fit, healthy, and doing some sort of fitness, whatever it might be.
It's not like I've always tried to stay in shape because I like to. As a kid, I played hockey, ice hockey.
Okay.
In Canada. In Canada, that's what you do. It's either ski or you play hockey. I played hockey because it was easier, cheaper for my family and all that sort of stuff. Skiing, you've got to go somewhere. And there was 5 of us.
More expensive.
Way more expensive. And there's 5 of us. Anyways, played a lot of ice hockey. And then in high school, I started playing rugby, which to me was like the best sport ever. And then I just continued to play rugby and to stay, I try to stay in shape for rugby during the off season. I played to a decent level, but then I played in Toronto on this club that was more social than anything else. I think we won probably 5 games in 5 years. It's like we won a game. It was like we won the world championship kind of thing. So it was. I just really enjoyed the game, and I like running around, knocking people over or getting knocked over. And then when we moved to Singapore, I continued playing rugby for the Singapore Cricket Club, which was so much fun. And again, it opened up your social network and who you got to meet.
Yeah.
And I was always I took pride in being one of the players that was in the best shape, just because it was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
So I've always done that, and then got into running. Did some bunch of Spartan stuff once when Spartan started going out to Asia. I did a bunch of Spartan races and did quite well at those. Again, age group stuff.
Yeah.
And then mountain biking, because during COVID there wasn't much else to do. Bought a couple of mountain bikes, then rode around in the jungle in Singapore, which was so good for your mental health. It was, getting out into the green in the jungle and stopping and just listening to the animals and the birds and the cicadas and stuff like that. It was fantastic for me.
How, obviously you did a lot of rugby, and I'm guessing with rugby, there's a lot of strength training on the side, right? So you've obviously got to be robust for rugby. You've got to be able to take a challenge people. And it's a pretty tough sport to be in and to play a lot of, whether it's 5 years, 10 years. How important, looking back, was, this training on the side of rugby, being able to do, simple stuff like deadlifts or bench press, whatever it might have been. Yeah. How important, looking back now, was all this training on the side?
It's hugely important, I believe. Yeah, it's because we've always had a membership at a gym somewhere. We joined the American Club in Singapore, which is like a big social place, but had a really good gym. So we would go there. My wife and I would go there regularly. And then as the kids got old enough, they would start to go. But bench press, so the classic gym rat type stuff, squats, deadlifts. Do
you do any power cleans or anything like that in rugby training? No,
never.
I feel like things have changed now a little bit.
Only started, a couple of years ago when I started in CrossFit, because you go to these gyms and you're not supposed to drop the weight. You're not so. These big box gyms, the Virgin Actives and that kind of stuff. It's frowned upon to drop some. Now I think nowadays they've got more racks.
Yeah, Virgins have. Yeah, they might have a section where it's like a functional section where you could possibly drop the weights now.
But it's still frowned upon. And in fact, my wife would give me the look like, stop it.
Yeah, you're one of those people.
Yeah, jerk. It is. But yeah, it was. I think it's very important. But I didn't think of it at the time.
No, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Because it keeps your muscles, keeps your knees and hips stable.
Yeah, I feel like when you're young, I think it's important to get into stuff like that. Not, you don't have to realize how important it might be growing up or in the future how important it was. But I feel like, if you do have children, for example, like getting them into some sort of sport that does teach them, typical strength stuff or balance. Like I was at a Muay Thai event earlier this week. Yeah. And there was a young kid doing some sort of, routine, and he was bouncing on one leg and he was doing all this, impressive stuff at such a young age. I'm thinking it might not look much, but the amount of balance he has, coordination at such a young age, he might not know it now. Yeah. Excuse me. But in the future, just simple stuff like that, growing up, plays a big part.
I look at the young kids, like even the stuff, the people at Alioth or Lyeth, the guys who are 30, 20, 28, 32 kind of thing. Had I had access to a sort of a CrossFit type gym back then when I was that age, wow. Yeah. It was just all the big box gyms and just doing, and there was nothing online because there was no online thing. That's true. So, everybody's now got hundreds of different variations of exercises they can do just by looking at their phone, figuring things out. This kid bouncing around doing whatever he's doing is probably learned that either online or he's got a coach done it. The information nowadays is unbelievable.
So much, yeah.
Yeah, and people need to take to use that information.
For sure.
Yeah.
As well, looking back, obviously, apart from you exercising, but you touched on it very briefly with regards to the social aspect. And again, when I look back, I used to have a bar job. I used to work behind an old man's working club, right? Yeah. And I got I learned so much, again, not knowing at the time, but looking back now, I learned so much people skills and having to learn how to deal with certain types of people.
Yeah.
Looking back, working behind that bar. But getting into some sort of sport or, team sport or club, how important was that for you, meeting people and, making the person you are now? How important was that, all that social side to things?
I am who I am because of that, I think. It's, you become a product of your environment. And that was my environment. Team sports has always been my environment. I mean, I don't really understand individual sports. Golf, I think, is really, really difficult. Tennis, when you're playing one other person.
You got to be really fit for tennis.
You got to be really fit for tennis, but you also got to be mentally strong.
Yeah.
In a team sport, you rely on your teammates to help you out, and somebody might be faster, somebody might be stronger, so everybody works together. And that's, I think that's, I've become who I am because of that. And I find it really easy to socialize, possibly because of rugby, because that's a super social sport.
For sure.
Ice hockey, in Canada, each team would have to leave via different ends, because probably like football in the UK used to be, maybe it still is, where teams hate each other. You're not supposed to talk to each other. You're not supposed to shake hands at the end. And then all of a sudden I start playing rugby, and like everybody's fine. Everybody goes and has a drink afterwards.
Yeah, they show respect, right? It's more of like a respectful thing, right?
Yeah, so I think rugby has done a lot more for me socially than any other sort of sport or sporting endeavor.
I find it interesting though, because you mentioned that you'd won 5 games in 5 years or whatever it might be. So you was playing for a team that wasn't so competitive at the top of the league, whatever it was, which is fine. But now you look at yourself now, and you've just mentioned that you much prefer team sports, but you've gone to a sport that is individual and very competitive, and you're showing that. But yet in the past, you've been part of teams that
that's true,
haven't been too successful. So how have you managed to find the balance and being successful in such an individual sport now, having been in a team which wasn't doing so great?
I like to win, but it's not the most important thing. Like I'm chuffed if I'm the fastest in a wad or something like that, but I don't go out with that mentality. The rugby teams, the teams that I've played on, for me, it was more the social aspect and the community aspect, which is, again, why CrossFit really appeals to me. You go into a gym and everybody's trying hard.
Very true.
Whether, somebody's not as strong or somebody is much stronger, but everybody's going for the same goal. And afterwards you sit around and talk about the actual workout you've just done. I find the community has really sucked me in, and it sucks people in.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as it's great. And there are the gym I was at in Singapore, we are one, the Wow guys, there were no jerks. At Alioth, there's no jerks.
I think that's subjective.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, maybe. But I haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
Everybody seems nice.
Yeah.
And
it's not like
inclusive.
a Virgin Active sort of vibe, is it?
No. Yeah. Where everybody goes and just does their own thing. I'm that guy at the Virgin Active that walks around and talks to people. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, which people at Virgin Active don't like, did they?
Correct.
They just want to get the headphones in.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Here comes that creepy guy again.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you find something that works for you, right? Not everyone's like us. Not everyone's so sociable.
That's right.
Not everybody wants to go to the gym to socialize. People might just want to go with their headphones in, get the workout done, and just see themselves. So
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. As long as you're doing something, I feel like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Obviously, fitness has been some sort of constant for you since a young age, whether it's rugby, CrossFit now, whatever it might have been. Apart from exercise, obviously you keep very fit and you're in great shape, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about fitness, because again, I see people that come to the gym, and they've been coming to the gym for a long time, and not specifically at Eliath, by the way, but a gym, and they might be a little bit obese, but yet they go to the gym every day. But there's something that's not quite working, whether it's away from the gym, because the gym, I mean, you're probably at the gym for 1 hour of your day. There's that 23 hours that you're not in the gym. You might have a sedentary job sitting on the desk. So apart from like exercise, what is it that's been another constant thing for you? Because
food.
Yeah.
Over the last, I guess 7-8 years, maybe even longer, my wife and I, Amanda, just eat I don't know if it's clean or whatever, but we just eat normal, for us, normal stuff. A protein, a carb, and some sort of green. There's always got to be a green in a meal, every meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or whatever. And we don't overeat. Amanda's really, really good at diet and what's going into our bodies. So that's helped quite a bit. She's, it changes depending on what podcast she's listening to.
Okay. Yeah. So she takes on information and
takes
goes from
loads
that.
of information. Yeah. So we eat well. I don't, as a kid, in the 70s and 80s, we were eating crap, just high fructose, everything. And then, as soon as we moved out, then you've got to take responsibility for your own diet and stuff. And I typically would eat normally sort of boring stuff, chicken, potatoes, salad. Right now we eat chicken, pork, chicken, fish, a lot of salmon, sweet potatoes all the time, rice, nothing too fancy. It's kind of boring. My colleagues in Singapore used to always razz me because I'd eat the same thing every day for lunch, or roughly about the same thing. But it kept me on like my insulin levels don't rise and fall. I don't spike. I don't crash. And they were always having gastric issues. They'd go and eat whatever they want. And I, sort of maintain.
Yeah, I feel like
it's a long-term plan, I guess. I don't think long-term, but it's just, for me, it makes sense. It gives me lots of energy. I don't, it allows me to do a workout tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like there's some people that can do what you do. They're happy eating the same thing over and again. They don't eat for pleasure, but there's a lot of people out there that, unfortunately, I mean, each to their own. Like, I like a good burger now and again. Or a
me
pizza,
too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
But, I think...
And we do that.
8 times out of 10, you need to be able to eat the right thing, like you said.
And I think that's...
And just be mindful of, especially when you get past a certain age. When you're playing rugby, you could go out, drink the night before, go and play a rugby game at 10 a.m. in the morning, and it'd still be fine. You can still perform. But I feel like, when you get past a certain age, 30 or whatever it might be, you do need to be more mindful of what you're putting in your body, because it is going to have a big issue around performance. And if you want to perform well...
Well, if you want to perform well, or you just want to have enough energy to get through the day. I watch, the young guys I work with at work here, they just order in restaurant food every day. They're instead of getting up and going down, they still have to get up and go down and get it out of the car park. But if they just walked another 50 meters, they could go select their own food. But they order, effectively restaurant food every day, and that's become the norm because of all these DoorDash and delivery apps. It's just find I don't never use that stuff.
Yeah, for those that are listening, if you're listening out of Dubai. There's we do have delivery services for mostly everything in Dubai. So one of the norms is just people literally ordering what they want online, whether it's healthy food or not. It can be healthy food.
Yes.
But it is literally delivered to your doorstep. So people are having, being at the desk for 10 hours a day, if not more, and then they're still sat on your desk waiting for that food. So
and then they wonder why they have why they're tired at the end of the day. Or they don't have enough interest, or why they're gaining weight. I just got asked yesterday, how do you stay so slim? Well, I try hard. I go out and I do something for an hour every morning. Oh, wow.
We had a brief conversation before we started filming about sleep, and you asked me what time I slept. That
has become so much more important in people's lives now. But we talk about, as a kid, I never talked about sleep. Never, in my 30s, never talked about sleep. That's all people talk about now at my age. What time do you go to bed?
You're right.
Time to get up. Because you need sleep. Sleep is so important. Again, my wife listens to loads of podcasts. It's a big focus of our day. Masks, earplugs, the right mattress. You got to have your sleep.
How many hours of sleep do you usually get?
Me, I get about 7 to 8.
7, yeah. I'm the same. I need around 7 to feel good.
Sometimes, obviously less. The odd time I can drift into the 9s, which frustrates my wife because she's like 7.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
7.5.
I can't do that. I'm usually up like your wife, maybe 7.5 hours. If I get 8, I'm happy. And sometimes I feel more tired when I've had more sleep as well.
That is one of the issues,
Yeah, maybe we need a sleep expert in on my next podcast, maybe to tell us all about sleep. That'd be a nice podcast, wouldn't it? There's a little meme that I saw on Instagram. It was funny because like when you're younger and you're grounded, you get in.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you're not allowed to go out and your bedtime is early. And now when you grow up, it's like,
yeah. I wish I was.
How
grounded.
roles have reversed, like
Yeah.
you'd love to get to bed nice and early.
Yeah, exactly.
But you obviously moved to Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
and you started, obviously, you was there for a long time, but at some point in Singapore, you found a CrossFit box. That's where you found CrossFit. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. How did you come around CrossFit? Why did you start doing CrossFit? Is it because your wife told you to, because you listened to a podcast? Or?
No. She didn't know anything about it. It was during COVID, right at the end of Singapore's COVID was longer than everybody else's.
Yeah.
We were sort of under lock and key for a little bit longer than a lot of other places. Not as long as China, but a couple of years. And I was riding my mountain bike. I'd gone mountain biking, and my wife used to teach horse riding at this place in an area called Turf City. And there's lots of gyms or indoor soccer cage type stuff. And I rode past this gym called We Are One, WAO. I didn't know what it was. And it's outdoors under a tent, and everybody was inside sweating like crazy. And this is kind of cool. So I asked about it. I left. I didn't go back for about a month, whatever. And rode my bike around again, saw more people. I recognized a couple of people from various things I've done in the past. And okay, we'll give that a try. So I went in and I went for my introductory thing on fundamentals on a Saturday morning.
Good.
Which was their, like a lot of boxes, it's their big, community WOD type day where everybody is swinging from the rafters. And there was this woman, a 35-year-old woman squatting 160 kilos. I'm like, this is not for me. This is way too intimidating.
Yeah.
But then, a couple of friends that I knew were there, and sort of kept going back. And then the whole community thing, the whole community aspect of it. And then I found out I was pretty good at a few things. I had the aerobic capacity when there was longer workouts. I was doing quite well. I didn't have the technique, obviously, because that takes a while. But that was that was October, about 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then it was close to our house, and I'd ride my bike there and back. It was really nice, and the community is super, super nice, like welcoming.
How many members would they have, this gym? Well,
they've moved, but they had, let's say, maybe 150.
Wow, a lot of members.
Yeah, but not probably 65, 70 that are there,
for the day,
every day, kind of thing. Obviously, morning, noon, and night. And now that land was taken back by the government, so they've moved to a different spot, and then opening up a second one. So, and because they're going to try to replicate the whole outdoor experience, because it's a vastly different experience when you're in 30, 32, 35 degree heat with 100% humidity.
Yeah, it's horrible.
My God, it's like I literally had towels
for the bars.
On the bars, yeah. They call them my
I don't know how they maintain the bars on some machines when it's that hot and humid,
Well, they don't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Some things get
bit of a shame.
totally rusted out.
Yeah. So basically, from session 1, you was hooked on CrossFit then.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it.
Yeah. It's just the vibe of the place. Now, maybe it was the atmosphere of this one box was very welcoming. The massive age gap or group or whatever. And the abilities were, handstand walking and ring muscle ups all the way down to people that could, were struggling with 5 kilos kind of thing. So it was it had, it was easy to fit in no matter where you were.
You found this sort of new sport, if you will, at 58, right?
Yeah.
You've gone from, doing a sport that you've loved, like rugby or whatever it might have been, a sport that you know how to play, and you've gone into this CrossFit box, and you might finding things now that you've never seen in your life and you've never tried. So you try and think, like, how is it for someone at an age of 58 going into a box and having to try these new, to what some people might think crazy movements, like gymnastic stuff, barbell weightlifting? It's like, you've never done this before. So how did you find this transition of, rugby over to trying something new again at 58? Like, how was it?
For me, I loved it because it was a challenge. I took up mountain biking. I was falling off my mountain bike all the time, like smashing into the trees and onto rocks and stuff. But boys are stupid. Men are stupid.
Yes, we are.
We fall off at the back. Like when our kids were growing up, they'd walk along the back of the sofa, fall, smack their head. They'd get up and do it again. My wife would freak out because, like, why are they doing that? Little girls stop. They don't do it again. Men just keep going. So for me, it was a challenge. I just thought it was, okay, this guy's lifting 100 kilos. I could probably have to get there. This guy's doing that. That person's doing this. And the whole bar muscle ups and just swinging around on the bars, to me, that was like growing up in the 60s and 70s, where you went out in playground. You went like, there was a challenge to walk along the neighbor's back fence and, just to jump over the fences. So for me, it was, this is kind of fun. And I'd been doing a lot of Spartan races. And I went to the World Championships in 2019. That for me was so much fun because, again, it's running outdoors.
Takes you back to your
climbing
childhood.
things. Yeah, you're climbing, you're getting muddy and dirty. And then that shut down because of COVID. So I guess in a way, CrossFit replaced that. But then it's just, I have no interest in doing the Spartan races anymore.
Yeah.
It's too much running.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, mate. Yeah. I mean, you've done CrossFit for not too long at all. I mean, I've been doing CrossFit longer than you, which people might look at this and think that's crazy.
Yeah. I wish I'd found it earlier.
For sure. And a lot of people do. And I feel like now, people are noticing that. And there are a lot more teenagers and kids being more involved with CrossFit, which is great. It's so transferable to other sports as well.
Yeah. Nobody's ever
if you want to play rugby, then you can do a bit of CrossFit and rugby. If you want to do jiu-jitsu, which is, again, for those that might not know, is big over in the UAE. Yeah. Again, it just transfers really well over to whatever sport it is that you want to play. Yeah,
nobody's ever complained that they were too strong.
Exactly. I mean, when was it that you sort of thought to yourself, right, well, I can get pretty good at this. Like, for my age, I'm really good. And maybe one day I'd like to compete in CrossFit, do competitions, and maybe one day get to the CrossFit Games. Did that ever cross your mind?
Yeah.
Was people telling you this before you even imagined it, or?
Well, the first time we did the Open, I couldn't do double unders. So I could do everything else that was required, but I just couldn't do double unders. So I didn't do well. And then I learned double unders better the second year. Yes, people were telling me that, you could probably go to the Games, but at the time, the Games was just the top 10. So I was trying to get into the top 10. Last year I got into, it was 22nd. And then figured out double unders and bar muscle ups a little bit better. And I still need some work on those, obviously. And, as long as I kept my fitness up, my cardio fitness, my for the gassy stuff, I thought I had a chance. I don't mean to sound like arrogant, but I thought if everybody else is telling me this, and then this year's Open, when I was doing the exercises or doing the WODs, I thought I'd done really poorly. The one that was the burpee box jumps.
The worst movement.
That was, I thought I'd done terribly, but I guess everybody else in my age group had done terribly as well, because I was 6th or 7th or something, which was bizarre.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, though.
Yeah. But, it's, after, I guess, the first 6 or 7 months, I realized, I can do pretty well at this.
Sort of like after you'd done the first Open.
Yeah, that's right.
How important was it, like, people believing you and telling you that you could make it? Did you have that sort of support from your community in the box?
Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
There was, back in Singapore, they were all talking about just the second year saying, you're going to the Games.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
there was quite a bit of pressure.
Did you train specifically for the Open or the CrossFit Games at any point? So what did you do? Just decided to do the CrossFit classes in Singapore and LIF?
I've never done, until it came to Dubai, I've never done any sort of extra stuff. That no extra programming. Yeah. It's just, but obviously it's the skill levels, it's the gymnastics that I need to work on. And that's what Eliath has really helped out with. I mean, the Dark Horse programming and that sort of stuff was really pushing me on certain things. Some tips from guys like you, from people like you, Rachel telling me, just breathe, make sure to breathe when you're doing
it's the little tips, right, that people don't really think of.
Well, just generally, I think after a certain amount of time, you've got a lot of the moves, you probably got 90% of the move down. It's that extra 10%, which which is key.
Yeah, agreed. Well, that'll move us swiftly on to you moving to Alive, which you know is perfect. How long have you been at CrossFit Alive now? When did you move over to Dubai?
In March of this year.
Wow, it seems a lot longer, right?
I know, 6 months.
Yeah,
it's only 6 months. So when I first arrived, we have a friend that's lived here for a number of years, named Katinka. Katinka's as a friend to Anna Cooper. So I messaged Anna. Anna suggested I met her at Fit Republic the first time. And then I said, Fit Republic's a little bit too far from my office. So she suggested Alive because she said it's the premier sort of CrossFit gym. No, but it really is.
Let's go. Let's stick on that, right?
Okay.
What did you say about CrossFit Life? Because sometimes, people do have preconceived ideas of gyms before they even step foot in them. Yeah. So before you even step foot into Alive, what was, that sort of chat, or what did you presume?
She said there's a lot of very strong and very good CrossFitters that go to Alive. So it was intimidating to a certain extent, but at the same time, at my age, I really don't care. I wasn't here to compete against the 30-year-olds. I just wanted a place that I could go to, which was, sort of big and industrial and,
CrossFit vibe.
Exactly. It had that look. And she was right. I came in and there was the quality of CrossFitter at Alive is just mind-blowing compared to the other places I've been.
Yeah, I feel like you have both sides of the spectrum. I do feel like, we do have athletes like yourself that come to CrossFit Alive, but we also have, a good demographic of new people coming in, people that are still learning how to do the first muscle up or still doing the first pull up.
That's right.
So, it is inclusive for everyone.
Yeah. So, anyways, Anna suggested coming there, and
lovely.
Ever since then, it was just, it was part of my day, to get up, come to the gym, go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like me. You like to get it done early in the morning. Yeah. Before we do anything else. Make it the hardest part of our day, and then the day is going to be easier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do feel like you've fit in pretty well. Obviously, it does feel like you've been there a lot longer since, even though it's been March. Yeah. But I feel like, like you said, the community side of things, you've got to know people in the gym, and you fitted in really well. And obviously, I feel like, knowing people have, come to know how good you are for such an age, and very quickly we knew that you was pretty good at what you do, and there was, talk on the grapevine that you might want to do the Open and possibly get to the games, and then word got around, and then the community is getting involved and supporting and asking you questions, which I feel like, we never had this before of, like such a person going to the CrossFit Games as a Masters athlete. So
it's great.
I feel like, people like you, for example, inspire me. Like, for someone at 61 years old going to the games and being in such good shape inspires me more than, a 24-year-old coming in and being able to snatch 150 kilos. Like,
thanks.
So I feel like whether you know it or not, I feel like there's a lot of people at CrossFit Life that you've inspired, and, people do look up to you, I feel.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Sort of another reason to do it.
Yeah,
Inspire
for sure.
My kids,
why do you do it? That's great. Why do you do it? Apart from, obviously,
let you just stay in shape, but the fact that it inspires other people. Originally, I've always wanted to stay in shape so I could keep up with my kids when they got older.
Which is very understandable, and a lot of people are the same.
They're trying to keep up with me now.
Good. Good. So you've won. You've won
exactly.
in life. Yeah, I love that.
So it becomes a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's what I like, the fact that people are inspired by me, but I don't go out to do it to be inspirational. I just I'm that guy over there doing that thing.
And again, that makes it even more special, right? It's like the fact that you just do it for yourself and then people look up to that, and I feel like that's great, So you've done the Open this year. Well, this year just gone. Yeah. It was this year? Was it this year?
It was, yeah.
The Open was this year, yeah. February, March. You did the Open. You qualified for the Masters age group of 60 to 64. And you've recently just been to the CrossFit Games as a Masters athlete and competed at the CrossFit Games as an athlete. Your first time, I think it was CrossFit Elias' first time that we've had a Masters athlete go to the CrossFit Games. I think Miko went, but obviously he was a young master. So you're Masters, right?
Yeah.
You're one of the old guys. First of all, how did the Open go for you? Was it expected for you to finish so high? How do you feel like you performed?
I went there feeling pretty intimidated because I've never done a competition like that. I've only ever competed in a doing the Open before. I've never done it in front of anybody else, and clearly not with other people my age. So I was pretty nervous when on the first couple of days. Sorry, the first day when I get there. But luckily, the first event was something right up my alley. It was a bit of running and some deadlifts. So that I was concerned that I didn't fit in. You know what I mean? I would imagine a lot of people in their first year, the first go, think, I got here, but maybe I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, like rookie, right?
Yeah, there must be other people that are way better.
Yeah.
But I went in at ranked 7th or whatever it was, and then I ended up 5th. So I was pleased with that.
Yeah, I feel like when you are a rookie, go into the CrossFit Games. Yeah, you're nervous because of the whole event is pretty new to you, and it's something it's something new. It's your first time, which a little bit of nerves now and again. But then again, there's no pressure on you. It's your first time, you can go, you can enjoy yourself. There's no pressure for you to finish first or whatever it might be, unless you're putting it on yourself, which some people do, you know.
Some people, I was putting a little bit of that on myself in a way, but I also understood that, the 5 of the guys that this is their 6th or 7th time doing that sort of thing. For them, it's literally part of their annual sort of vacation time. They know that at some point in late July or early August, they're going to be going to the CrossFit Games. Yeah. Because that's what they've been doing. They've been doing CrossFit for 15 years or 10, 15 years. So anyways, for me, it was intimidating, but after my first event, which I won, I was, okay, this is okay. Yeah. And, the guys I was competing with or against, I'd like to say competing with, because we obviously competed against each other, but it was a tight group of guys, really nice group of men. They were, everybody was not necessarily helping each other out, but giving tips. But prior to an event, we would sit around and talk about, like, how much are you going to try for? How much are you going to try? What do you like? It was, I had expected maybe a bit more competition and secretiveness and, working on the side, but everybody was just chatting. Now, maybe it was just me going up and talking to people. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like with every sort of competition, it's like that. I feel like it is a community. CrossFit is a community. People do know of other people who are competing and you do make friends, but again, you are competing with them, right? Yeah. So you can sit down, you can chat about it maybe, but it's not too competitive where, you have to hate each other. You're not going to speak to the other person. It's like you respect all the training that they've done leading up to the event, and everyone's in the same boat as you, Yeah. So I do feel like, these competitions that CrossFit put on or any local competitions, there's a bit of competition there between individuals, but at the same time, you are friendly and you do get on and you are acquaintances or friends,
It was a really, from that side of things, it was a fantastic experience because it didn't matter, just walking around talking to anybody of any age group, whether they were competing or not. Everybody was just in a good mood and happy, and everybody was happy to talk to each other. And Birmingham, Alabama, where it was, everybody there is so nice. The whole southern hospitality, it was bizarre. I expected a little bit more sort of animosity from people, or I'm not sure, but they were just so nice. Found a small, like a place to go, a CrossFit box to go and practice at before the event. It was $12 a day for the whole day.
Oh, wow. Not like Dubai.
No, it's not like Dubai.
Yeah, 10 times that. Yeah.
I suggest the guy move it up to $15 because I think people could still be willing to pay that,
Yeah. Well, let's hope you go back next year and he's charging 15.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I feel like you said, after, like, when you go to an event, whether it's the CrossFit Games or a local one, whatever it might be, once you get past that first workout nerves, you've got the first workout in, or you've done the first few minutes of that workout, everything just settles down, and
it really
you just tend to get in your groove. And is there anything that you do specifically between your workouts over there that that is routine for you, or you have any just like superstitious things that you do in between events that you need to do?
Yeah,
or...
well, superstitious. Yeah, I think everybody's got a bit of superstition. I'd wear the same socks. If I'd done well, I wear the same socks. The dark horse socks.
Oh yeah, you was wearing dark horse socks.
Yeah.
We need to give Pete more dark horse socks.
I was because I went in like nobody knew who I was, because a lot of these guys have competed against each other in various events, either Legends events or the CrossFit Games before. So of the 20 guys, 18 of them seemed to know each other. And they're like, I was who's this guy? Yeah, because I'd never been to one. Coming from the other side of the world, so I was literally the dark horse. So I thought, that's kind of cool. Wear the socks. Yeah. Did well. Wear the socks again.
So was people approaching you? I mean, after that first event that you won, you must have had these guys coming up to you asking you who you were, where you're coming from, what's your name. Like,
well, the guy who came second, a really nice guy, Dave Powell. You a runner?
I don't know. I recognize that name.
I used to be. His name's Dave Powell. He's an Army guy. He's a super nice guy. But he must have asked me 5 different times during the couple of days, like, do you run a lot? I used to. But
yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. So I think a couple people came up to me and telling me it was nice to see somebody new do well at an event.
How many? Just give people a brief explanation of your Masters CrossFit Games. Like, how many events was there? How many days was it? Like,
it was a 4-day event: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had
4 days.
4 days. Yeah, 2 events on Thursday, 3 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then so it was 8 in total. And if you were in the top 50%, the top 10, obviously, you got to go to the final event on the Sunday. So there was a cutoff. There was a cut for every age group. So I made it to the top 10 and then finished on the Sunday morning.
And you finished in 5th place.
5th place, yeah.
First time at the CrossFit Games as a Masters and finishes 5th. Not too bad. You get some prize money? Just a little? Zero prize money.
Top 3.
Oh,
so I didn't realize it was 10,000 US for the number 1. Yeah. 5 for number 2 and 3 for number 3. So try harder next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the actual CrossFit athletes, is it? There's mega money in that, but when you get into the Masters, unfortunately, it's not as backed as much as it.
No, and the guy who won it, a guy named Joe Ames, he's won this, I think it's probably his 5th time winning an age group event. Super nice guy. He was telling me it's 10,000. He was going to win $10,000. I thought, it's not bad. He goes, no, it doesn't really even cover the cost of me getting here, bringing my family, all that sort of stuff. So, but you're not doing it for the money.
No,
you're doing
not
it
for sure. Yeah,
you're just
doing
doing
the experience as well.
Yeah, for fun.
Yeah. I mean, you've told us your favourite workout, which is probably the first one that you won.
Yeah.
What was the most humbling workout that you did? Let us know about that.
The last one, the bar muscle ups.
Tell us the workout, if you remember.
It was dumbbell thrusters.
Yeah.
And then bar muscle ups. So on paper it sounds easy, and it is on paper easy. It's dumbbell thrusters. I think it was 8 one arm, and then 12, and then 16. So 8, and then you did 4 bar muscle ups, 12, 6 bar muscle ups, and then 16, and then 8 bar muscle ups. The winner did it in 2 minutes and 58 seconds.
Wow.
Second guy was 3 minutes. I didn't finish.
Yeah.
But just my muscle ups by then were just, that's what, obviously, these events sort of, dramatically show where your holes are in your
for
abilities.
Sure, yeah. But I feel like CrossFit as a sport it's like this. For most people, apart from the top 1%, it's very humbling. You can come, you can smash a workout, like your first event, you can do really well. You love CrossFit. Oh, I love this event. You've just won a workout. Your favorite movements in, and then you come to a workout, and there's a mixture of these movements that you might have, but the mixture of it just somehow throws you off, and it's just humbled you, and you're thinking, wow, I need to get better at this. I can still be faster. I can be more efficient at certain movements. I can be stronger. And I feel like CrossFit does so well in doing that, because people just keep coming back for more and more. That's because, we can always get faster. We can always get stronger. And, when I'm your age and I'm looking back at people who are 20, 21 and, how strong are they going to be?
Well, that's it.
How fast are they going to be? It's just going to get,
exactly it.
People are just going to get fitter and fitter, and it's going to be scary.
It is. It will be. That's why everybody says, like, how did you do it? I said, just stay in shape and get old.
Yeah.
That's how you get to the games. Stay in shape, get old.
What's one thing you've took away from the games then? So you finished the whole event, like, you're back on the plane now, coming back to Dubai. What are you thinking? Like, what's in your head? Future goals wise, getting back to the games again, or like, what was going through your head afterwards?
No, I definitely want to try to get back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Pete. He's so competitive. He comes to the classes, he wants to beat everyone, and
just because it was a great experience. It was, again, mainly because the people were so nice. Everybody's, as I say, competitive, but still a community. And I know I can do better, and I'd like to do better. It's not I want to be the best and win. It would be great to win, but I'd like to do better at certain events or certain things. Yeah, and I know I can do better.
I think so the goal for you is lead up, getting on the podium, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a good goal for you, right?
Yes. So for the next, I wasn't thinking about it right away. All I was thinking about after was, okay, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off and just sort of not do too much, because leading up to it, the Dark Horse competitive program was a lot of work. There was, a couple of hours a day of stuff, which worked fantastically in terms of my ability to recover for the following day. So the Thursday into the Friday. I wished in some ways that the events were over 2 or 3 days, because I think I would have done better, because the other guys were definitely gassing out.
Interesting.
Because I think not every box in the world works. We at Goliath, we work pretty hard relative to other boxes. I think the program I find is pretty strong. So anyways, I was hoping it would have been, there would have been more. Like the other age groups did 10 workouts, we only did 8. 2 of the workouts one of the workouts was definitely a doable thing. It was literally overhead squats. It was 3 minutes, is like some overhead squats for 3 minutes effectively. So we were all watching it thinking, we can do that. We can do that. But I'd like to get back to the games next year if possible.
Nice.
And maybe they'll be combined next year, because this year they were split up.
Yeah. Why did they do that? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
No?
I'm not sure.
I think next year is going to be the same. I don't think they're going to bring it back, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
You never know. Things always change. So what's the process now then? So you're back at LA, if you're training pretty much back to normal now. For you to get to the games again and maybe get on that podium, no pressure, maybe win. Like, what's the process now? What you're thinking? Like training-wise, you're just going to be coming to the classes? You're going to be following a specific individual program, or like?
Well, at the moment, my plan is just to follow the general WODs of the class, and then, closer to the end of the year, maybe sit down with you or Jake or somebody and work out a program that focuses on my weaknesses, so that come February, March next year, I've figured those out. Because then I just hope then that it doesn't take so long to then have the games, because it was the Open was over in April, and we didn't do our event until mid-August, end of August.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it 2 ways, can't you? That gives you a lot of time to focus on your weaknesses, and
that is true. Yeah,
get that little bit fitter.
That's true.
Focus on your dumbbell thrusters and muscle up workouts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the gym more often and smashing it like you always have done, and being that weirdo that talks to everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people either listening or watching who can probably learn a thing or two from you, whether it's getting up in the morning, making sure that you're getting your daily dose of fitness in, or whether it's looking at your sleep and your nutrition, whatever it might be, and just making that like a way of life, which it might come across easy because you're doing it now and it's sort of like routine, but I feel like people just need to make those small changes, whether it's just eating a little bit more cleaner or getting to bed that little bit earlier to wake up a little bit early, and try and start your day with some exercise or end it with exercise. And I feel like people learn a lot about themselves.
For your whole mental well-being as well.
Yeah. What's apart from the CrossFit Games and getting onto the podium, what's the future hold for Pete personally? Any plans to stay in Dubai long term, or?
We'd like to stay here for a couple of years. Absolutely. It's closer to our kids, like North America. We got 2, one in Vancouver, one in LA, and then one lives in London. So, we'd like to stay here for 3, 4, 5 years. Try to, make some money, save some money.
Travel a bit? Are you
Yes,
into
definitely
traveling?
travel around this region because I really have no idea what the Middle East is like.
I mean, it's a lovely central hub, right? Like, there's a lot of close places that you can.
Absolutely, like Greece, Central Europe,
Maldives, Seychelles.
Maldives. That's right. Those are
get
pretty
to those
close,
nice
aren't they?
places.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so get out.
Giving him ideas now.
Like literally, drive into the desert, do like sort of explore the region a bit more.
Nice.
And have our kids come, have family come.
Has it ever been to Dubai, your kids?
Not yet.
No.
Coming at Christmas.
They're coming.
Yeah.
All at once, same time?
Yes, all at once.
Oh, wow.
Squeezing
It's
into
going to be an interesting Christmas.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They're not going to...
Have you got any plans for them? You going to do anything exciting?
I want to try the zip line over the marina.
Yeah.
Or the one that's in the mountains. The super long one.
Fajira or something.
Yeah.
Top golf, like you told me earlier.
Top golf. We're going to do some, dune buggy stuff probably.
Oh, they'd love that. Yeah, the dune buggies and sandboarding and barbecue, and you can put on the kandora, have all that Arabic experience. Yeah, they'd love that.
Yeah, so we're gonna. Amanda's looking into all that sort of stuff and already pre-planning and over-planning stuff.
Christmas isn't too bad here.
That's what
I like it. Yeah,
just traffic's bad.
Yeah, let's not mention the traffic. Traffic's crazy at the minute. We'll finish off with maybe a piece of advice. I feel like people would look up to you for advice. What's one piece of advice that you'd give anyone listening, whether it's life-wise, whether it's fitness-wise, whether it's something that has always stuck with you, if somebody's always told you something that stuck with you, like one piece of advice that you'd like to leave us with, and I think that's a good note to finish on.
Just try to, the way we're living at the moment is efficient. Sort of the food is efficient, the routine is efficient. Try to be get a routine that works for you, that's efficient, whether it's working out or doing some sort of exercise in the morning, afternoon, in the evening, depending on your work schedule. Eat normal stuff, have fun, like do this, the 80-20 thing where 80% of the time you're eating well, 20% of the time you're bashing yourself out on whatever. And just find something that a community of people that pulls you along. And energizes you and gives you confidence, because that's what a lot of CrossFit boxes are like, or team sports, or whatever makes you happy. But find a community of people that makes you feel better. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I just had a thought about something else, which I'd want to know before we finish. What if your wife was sat here now and I asked her to describe Pete in a few words? What would you hope, or what do you think that your wife would say? I think we'll finish on that. That's it. A bit more exciting. That's a tough one. Yeah. Depends on what kind of day you've got her on. A good one. Right now, it's she would think I'm a very positive person, sociable, sometimes too sociable. Yeah. Full of energy, a good dad, hopefully a good husband, generous, and I can cook and I can clean. I can, two good bonuses there. Yeah. In fact, I probably why you got married at such a young age, and I'm still single. Exactly. Yeah. Awesome, mate. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you very much. It's been great being here. Yeah. All the best for next year's CrossFit Games. Thanks, man. A big thank you to our main podcast sponsor, Practical, for supplying guests with some tasty snacks, and you guys for watching on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and let us know what you think by dropping a message in the comment section below.